The earth is filled with caves and caverns, hidden crevices that bear the secrets of the past. Our curiosity often drives us to explore these caves, and as we scour their depths, we uncover the secrets that have been laid bare within their walls for thousands or even millions of years. These findings are too numerous to be numbered, but here for your viewing pleasure are 15 shocking things found in the caves of the earth. Number 15. Skull cups in Gough's Cave. We hope you're not claustrophobic, because the cave we are about to explore right now is pretty cramped. We kickstart this strange list with one of the most bizarre items ever discovered in a cave. While scouring a cave in southwest England, explorers discovered this treasure trove of archaeological artifacts. But this wasn't your regular fascinating discovery. What they found within this cave was pretty eerie. Skull cups, dating back to some 14,700 years ago, littered the cave. These 3 brain cases, one belonging to a child and the 2 from adults, stand as a testament to the cannibalism that was part of this ancient human society. Can you imagine finding skeletons of ancient humans, and it turns out those bones were used as drinking cups by humans just like them? It kind of sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? Here's more gory details for you. Researchers believe that these skulls were carefully skinned, and the skin was most probably consumed. Then, with flint tools, the soft tissues were removed, leaving this well-shaped cup that was probably used for drinking liquids. But what society was capable of such horrific practices of consuming people of your own species? Apparently, over 14,000 years ago, this wasn't that much of a problem. Were the humans these skulls belong to members of the tribe that consumed them, or did they fall victim to the cruel practices of other rival societies? But here's another tiny little twist in the story, which adds more drama to the whole mix. Some scientists believe that it is fairly impossible to determine whether the flesh, skin, and brain of these people were consumed after the removal. They believe that this practice was maybe more of a religious thing, instead of a display of cruelty. These theories are interesting and all, but there's another little detail that makes this occurrence even more dramatic. Researchers have detected evidence that shows that these skull cups were crafted by modern humans. Yes, what you're looking at is not a product of early human technology. Instead, it was made by the early forms of modern humans. What level of hunger, food scarcity, or animosity would have led this society to feed on one of its kind? This story is quite stunning, isn't it? But the next discovery you are about to witness will totally blow your mind. Number 14. Garden of Edom. Please mind your head, brave explorer, as you walk through this huge cave, which hides a fascinating secret. For many years, this remarkable cave was hidden from the glimpse of the world. Many deep crevices had been discovered in the Phong Nha Key Bank National Park in Vietnam, but it wasn't until 1991 before this massive cave system was discovered deep in the forest. What you are about to witness is a wonder like you've never seen before. Welcome to Sun Dong Cave, the largest cave in the world. You probably feel you've fallen down a rabbit hole, and you're now in a mysterious wonderland in another world entirely. But sorry to burst your bubble, you're still on Earth. This massive cave stretches for about 5.6 miles, and the deepest depth measures about 490 feet below the ground. So you know this isn't your typical cave. To put this into perspective, you should know that the interior of this cave is so large that you could fit an entire New York block inside, skyscrapers and all. If you're feeling frisky, you could even fly a Boeing 747 through the interior of this cave, and its wings would not touch either side of the wall. So you should know this is no tiny claustrophobic cave. San Dung Cave is located near the Laos-Vietnam border and is believed to be 2 to 5 million years old. The total volume of the cave is measured at over 38 million cubic meters, and right at the end is a high flowstone-covered wall, which was nicknamed as the Great Wall of Vietnam by the explorers who made this astounding discovery. But here's the most fascinating part of this massive cave. As the explorers who first discovered this ancient cave delved deeper into its hidden crevices, they discovered something truly astounding. Feast your eyes on this thriving rainforest located deep within the ground. Lush vegetation and green trees adorn the insides of its dough-line, which opens up to the skies above. Explorers accurately named this cave the Garden of Edom due to its unusual interior. But that's still not all. This gift that keeps on giving is also home to some of the tallest stalagmites in the world, some of which can grow as tall as 230 feet. As you go deeper into this cave, you will also find an underground river interconnected with another nearby cave, as well as mysterious cave pearls the size of a baseball. If you fancy a bit of adventure and you'd like to tap into your inner explorer, then book a tour through this vast cave system. It is definitely going to be an experience of a lifetime. Number 13. Oldest wine in the world. Fancy a sip of ancient wine? You might be in luck, as scientists just discovered the earliest known winery while scouring a cave in Armenia. Unlike the oldest bottle of wine, this one does not actually contain wine, so you may have to hold on that sip you're craving. This fascinating find is of a wine press, which was used for stomping grapes and fermentation, as well as a couple of storage vessels, drinking cups, some withered grapevines, skins, and some seeds. According to archaeologist Gregory Areshian of the University of California, Los Angeles, this is the earliest, most reliable evidence of wine production. Initially, scientists had believed that wine production started much later in history, but this discovery pushes that record back a couple hundred years, way back to the Stone Age. So how did we find this hidden treasure? The credit for this fascinating discovery goes to Boris Gasparian, who led an excavation at the Arini 1 cave complex in 2007. So is this wine the same as what we have today, or is there any difference between the prehistoric wine and modern wine? The answer to this should be pretty obvious. Of course, both wines would be different in some ways, but overall they were made from the same materials, although through different processes. For example, the 3.5-foot-long clay basin that was unearthed at the site revealed that these ancient humans had pressed their wine the old-fashioned way by using their feet. The juice extracted from these trampled grapes is then drained into a nearby vat, where it is then left to ferment. The wine is then stored in jars. Fortunately, the cool conditions of the cave provide the perfect condition, making for a perfect wine cellar, so the wine ages well in the most pristine natural environment. Number 12. Altamura Man. Away from the tasty goodness of ancient wine, we travel to an ancient cave in Altamura, Italy, known as the Lama Longa Cave, where archaeologists have made one of the most remarkable discoveries ever. This is Altamura Man, the most complete and best-preserved Neanderthal skeleton ever discovered. But who was this man, and what exactly was he doing deep down in this lonely cave? The answer to these is quite shocking. Archaeologists believe Altamura Man must have fallen into this cave some 130,000 years ago. The cave isn't really brimming with life and was probably as barren back then as it is today, so he must have starved to death. Making a discovery like this is always an amazing experience, and even though it took great stress to access the hidden crevices of the cave, when you gaze upon the skeleton peacefully resting in a small chamber deep within the karst cave system, everything seems to be worth the stress. But there was a huge challenge with this discovery. You see, the skull was covered with limestone deposits and had been perfectly nestled within the narrow crevices of the cave system, so studying it was an extremely difficult task. After several frustrating attempts, scientists were able to extract DNA from the man's shoulder. This piece of the Neanderthal bones played a huge role in the dating process, enabling researchers to trace the timeline of this man's existence to between 130,000 to 117,000 years ago. But there was something else about this skeleton that made it unusual. As scientists studied the jaw, they discovered that this man had an almost complete set of teeth, but some of his teeth were missing. You're probably wondering why this is unusual after all the skeleton had been under the ground for a pretty long time. Let us break it down for you. You see, very few Neanderthal skeletons that have been discovered showed signs of decline in dental health. According to scientists, Neanderthals took great care of their dental health, so when scientists found out this man had a little gum disease when he was alive, it raised some eyebrows. But our study of this skeleton has remained hampered due to the treacherous terrains of the cave within which it is buried. Scientists hope that someday soon we will be able to extract the precious skeleton from the depths of the cave, giving us the opportunity to make an in-depth study. Does this discovery tickle your fancy? What comes next will even shock you more. Number 11. Crystallized human sacrifice. In case none of these previous discoveries have tickled your fancy, this one definitely will. Travel with us into the hidden crevices of Aktun Tunichil Muknal, or Cave of the Crystal Sepulchre, located in Belize. What you will find here is like nothing you've ever seen. For these hidden corners keep a secret, a testament to the savage brutality that forms a huge part of ancient human history. According to ancient Mayan beliefs, these caves were home to the gods and connected them to the underworld. That was why they probably thought it was a good idea to sacrifice a couple of people here, maybe to secure a ticket to the underworld experience or something. Are you freaked out yet? You probably will be soon. Here's more gory details for you. Within the past 2 decades, archaeologists have unearthed more than 1,400 human fragments, dating back to between 250 to 909 AD. This cave is like a treasure trove of human skeletal remains. But these people did not die a natural death. The age of the people who died within this cave ranges from 1 year old to 45 years old. Imagine the horrific scenes that unfolded within these walls, too great to be told. Here's something else that might interest you. Although scientists have not been able to determine how many of the people died, one thing is sure though. All the children sustained blunt force trauma, and their frail bodies were left out in the open, devoid of the dignity of burial. Ancient holes known as kill holes were found within the site. These holes are believed to have been used to drain the blood of the victims. On the other side of the spectrum, many people also believed the kill holes were used to allow the spirit of the dead to escape. This bizarre discovery stands as a testament to the horrific practices that were commonplace in ancient times. Thankfully, society is more sane now, and human sacrifice has become a thing of the distant past. Number 10. Israel's Cave of Horrors. Welcome to the Cave of Horrors. Are you ready for a bizarre adventure that will send chills down your spine? If you're ready like we are, let's get on with it. Located in Israel is this fascinating series of 8 caves in the canyon of Nahal Hever. This cave was once a place of refuge for persecuted Christians during the Jewish revolt against Rome. But that's not the focus of our study today. What we are here for are the strange human remains found littering the cave's interiors. A journey through this cave is an adventure through time, taking you back to a time of serious persecution. Right within the perilous terrains of this cave, archaeologists found a 6,000-year-old skeleton of a child. A CT scan of the child's remains revealed that it still had skin, tendons, and even hair partially preserved over the years. According to scientists, the girl was between the ages of 6 and 12, although no one can really tell the circumstances surrounding her death. But that's not all the Cave of Horrors has to offer. There's still much more. You should know that it got its infamous name after 40 skeletons were discovered during an excavation in the 1960s. Oh, what horrific scenes unfolded within these cavernous walls, but that's still not all. Right within these walls, archaeologists also uncovered pieces of the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were some of the earlier texts written in Hebrew. Archaeologists are grateful for caves like these because they offer us the opportunity to peer back into the past and piece together the unwritten history of humanity. Number 9. Cave of the Crystals. What you're looking at is not the set of a Superman movie. No, this is a real naturally occurring phenomenon known as the Cave of the Crystals. While this may look like the home of Kal-El, there is nothing mystical about this cave. It is a completely natural formation, arising from a fascinating chemical reaction. Pay attention as we attempt to piece together the origin story of this unusual piece. Located in Chihuahua, Mexico, this chamber contains giant selenite crystals, including some of the largest naturally occurring crystals ever found. Juan and Pedro Sanchez, 2 brothers who were drilling in the mine. The cave is located over a fault above an underground magma chamber. This bowl of hot lava is located some 3 miles below the cave. In this nature's laboratory, the magma heated the groundwater, which was already saturated with sulfide ions. Following a series of complicated chemical reactions, these crystals grow at an exceedingly slow rate right out of the cave floor. How amazing is that? The crystals you are looking at didn't just appear overnight. It took an astounding 500,000 years for the crystals to form this massive, vast network. This cave forms a horseshoe-shaped cavity in limestone, and the entire floor is covered with perfectly faceted crystalline blocks. Before you pack your bags and book a flight to visit this geological wonder, you should know that accessing this cave is a treacherous task, even for scientists. Craving for more fascinating finds? We've got you covered. Number 8. 30,000-year-old figurine. Away from natural wonders, we take a trip to a cave in Germany, where archaeologists have uncovered one of the earliest pieces of evidence of human artistry. This small bird figurine, dated to some 30,000 years ago, provides us with a glimpse into the ancient beliefs and practices of early humans. Fix your gaze upon this piece of artistic excellence. Looks like something from the modern world. Want to know something exciting? This figurine isn't just a natural depiction of an existing animal species. No, as a matter of fact, the animal portrayed with the figurine is more mythical than real. It depicts a water bird, with what appears to be a horse head and the mane of a lion. Could this sort of hybrid creature have existed back in ancient times? We really do not know. What we do know is that this figurine, crafted from elephant ivory, is a masterpiece of ancient artistry, and it stands as a testament to the advanced skills possessed by our early ancestors. What's more fascinating is that this figurine is so lifelike. You could see the perfectly crafted head and neck stretching out, as if in flight. Even more interesting is the fact that historians have tied the existence of this figure to shamanism. They believe that it was used as a spiritual symbol, although there is only so much we know about the practices and beliefs that informed the crafting of such a magnificent piece. Thanks to the caves, which serve as safe havens for these ancient masterpieces, giving us a chance to fix our gaze on fascinating objects that predate modernity. Number 7. Oldest dog and human footprints. How long has it been since dogs moved in with humans and became our forever companions? The dating of this fascinating transition from predator to pet has been a subject of debate and intense research for many years. Archaeologists had initially settled on a date, but with this new discovery, they may have to push it back a couple of years. Follow us into the Chauvet Cave, located near Vallon-Pont d'Arc in southern France, where archaeologists have discovered the footprints of a small child, alongside those of a wolf or maybe a dog. Picture this: some 30,000 years ago, a child and the forever companion, walking side by side within the hidden crevices of this cave. This finding remains the earliest evidence of the human-dog relationship and stands as a testament to the undying bond that has existed between man and his canine companion for many years. After careful study of the perfectly preserved prints, scientists discovered something absolutely fascinating. The child was believed to be between the ages of 8 and 10. They also believed the child was around 1.4 meters tall and was probably carrying a touch, judging by the charcoal stains left at the point when the child stopped to clean the torch. This fascinating discovery offers us an opportunity to take a look back in time, to a moment frozen for eternity, when man found his most loyal buddy. Number 6. Extinct bird claw. Imagine finding dinosaur remains, but this time what you found wasn't fossilized remains or some discarded skeleton, but bones with skin and tissue still attached to it. You could feel what a dinosaur's skin felt like without the need for computer-generated reconstructions. While what you are about to see is not a dinosaur, sorry, you may need to reduce the excitement a little. This fascinating cave discovery was made in 1987, when members of the New Zealand Speleological Society unearthed giant claw belonging to a moa bird. You're probably wondering why you've never seen this type of bird before. Well, that may be because the moa bird has been extinct for a very, very long time. These gigantic avians can grow up to 12 feet tall, although some of them can be as small as your typical turkey. Can you imagine standing beside a bird that massive? What's even more fascinating about the claw is that it still has the tissues intact. This wasn't just a gigantic skeleton. What archaeologists found was a well-preserved severed leg of an extinct bird. One can only wonder what happened to the rest of the body or the circumstances that brought this leg down here. Anyway, archaeologists have dated the claw to be over 3,300 years old, and since the image went viral online, many people have been claiming that it looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie. Actor Mark Hamill, who played the character of Luke Skywalker in The Return of the Jedi, even took to Twitter to jokingly remark that the Moa claw looked like a rancor's hand. A rancor is a fictional reptilian alien creature from the Star Wars franchise. It's not every day you discover something that generates such a buzz online, but what comes next will blow your mind even more. Before we reveal our next shocking find, here is the subscriber's pick for today. Scientists just opened a cave that was sealed for millions of years, but made a shocking discovery. What they found was a gigantic human skeleton, the likes of which had never been discovered in history. Ancient myths and legends often speak of these massive humans who walked the earth, towering over everything, but no known evidence of their existence has been discovered. That is, until now. Gaze upon this archaeological marvel, which has aroused several arguments and theories. Many say it isn't real, while many are fascinated by the prospects of the existence of such a magnificent piece. What is your thought on this discovery? Let us know in the comments. Now back to the video. Number 5. Underwater graveyard in Madagascar. Come with us to this lone spot on the map, where archaeologists have uncovered something very interesting. If you're looking for something fascinating with an air of mystery, this one might tickle your fancy. Deep below the surface, in a water-filled cave in Madagascar, archaeologists have uncovered a boneyard, filled with remains of extinct giant lemurs. The cave, known as the Avon Cave, is located in Simanampetsotsa National Park. Really wouldn't want to pronounce that twice. The animal remains found in this cave range from the extinct elephant bird, which is a flightless bird bearing semblance to the ostrich. There are also numerous bones belonging to the long-lost giant lemurs. Forget King Julian, these lemurs are the real deal. Some of them can grow as large as a gorilla. It's such a shame that they are extinct now. What a sight it would have been to witness their existence on the earth today. But no one knows exactly how they all disappeared. This story is shrouded in a cloud of mystique, and its puzzle remains unsolved for many years. Why did all the giant lemurs disappear between 2,000 and 500 years ago? Where are their bones stockpiled in this mysterious cave located in the middle of nowhere? The answers to these pressing questions continue to evade scientists, but we will keep exploring the cave. Maybe one day we will uncover the very secrets behind the unusual event. Number 4. Oldest bow and arrow. Crawl through the tiny crevices of the Grotte Mandrin located near Malataverne in the Rhode Valley, southern France. But be not dismayed, brave explorer, for your travails will not be in vain. In the end, you will be rewarded with an astonishing find. This cave, which was inhabited by humans some 54,000 years ago, holds a fascinating treasure, a piece of ancient craftsmanship. Are you ready for some adventure? Then let's get on with it. During a deep exploration of this cave, archaeologists uncovered what has become known as the oldest bow and arrow ever discovered. But this wasn't a single piece of weaponry. What the researchers stumbled upon was a pile of more than 300 of these tiny arrowheads. But who were the people who made these weapons? Scientists believe that these weapons were crafted by some of the earliest Homo sapiens to have arrived in this region. This discovery is so fascinating because it is the first time we are finding earlier evidence of the use of arrows by ancient humans outside of Africa. These weren't mass-produced arrowheads, however. They were of different sizes, with the largest being about 2.4 inches in length and the smallest about 0.4 inches. Scientists believe that these early humans worked with some sort of projectile system, through which these arrows were fired at their target. You just cannot but marvel at the level of creativity and craftsmanship possessed by our ancient ancestors. Number 3. Movile Cave in Romania. What happens when you open a cave that has been sealed for 5 million years? You find this magnificent ecological treasure that has been devoid of the influence of the outside world for the longest of times. Welcome to the surface version of the deep-sea ecosystem. You can imagine the drastic changes that would happen to an environment when it is sealed away from the rest of the world for that long. Here, the total lack of sunlight, which results in a pitch-black darkness, in addition to the toxic air, has made it inhospitable for most terrestrial animals. But would be surprised to find out that numerous creatures are thriving within this strange cave. So how did we discover this natural wonder? Well, the discovery can be traced back to 1986, when some workers for the Socialist Republic of Romania were scouting for a location to build a nuclear power plant. In case you were planning to pack your bags and head out to take a tour of the place, that isn't really possible. This cave is sealed off from the general public, and for good reason. This cave has been a subject of curiosity for biologists, who have discovered about 48 species living large in the pitch-black darkness. What's even more amazing is the fact that 33 of these new species are unique to the cave, which means they cannot be found anywhere else in the world. How amazing is that? Number 2. Joseph Henry Loveless. Not only is this man's name interesting, but his life story is also a subject of intrigue. This is the epic tale of Joseph Henry Loveless, marred with murder and mystery. In the spring of 1960, Loveless committed one of the most fascinating jailbreaks in history. He had hidden a saw in his shoe, and on getting to jail, used it to cut his way out. But he didn't go into hiding like most criminals would after a successful jailbreak. This man had a more sinister plan in mind. Few months after his escape, Loveless murdered his common-law wife by beating her brains out with an axe, according to a local newspaper. This earned him the nickname the Axe Murderer. He was rearrested, but he escaped and was never found again. That is, until now. Here's where things get a little interesting. On August 26, 1979, a family hunting for arrowheads in a network of volcanic caves in eastern Idaho discovered a man's headless torso within the cave. Stunned by their discovery, they contacted authorities, who conducted a DNA test on the remains. But that's not all. On March 30, 1991, an 11-year-old girl who was exploring the same cave system discovered a mummified human hand. Oh, what horrific screams she must have let out when she suddenly stumbled upon the severed appendage in the lonely cave. Further explorations led to the discovery of the rest of the body, which was later identified as belonging to Joseph Loveless. Who killed him? And why was his body mercilessly chopped up and scattered all over the cave? No one really knows the answers to these mysteries. Number 1. The Cheddar Man. Finally, we wrap up our epic adventure with the tales of the Cheddar Man. Discovered in 1903 in the rolling hills of Somerset, England, right within Cheddar Gorge Cliffs, the story of this ancient human remains one of the most fascinating cases of ancestral linkage ever. Apart from the fact that the Cheddar Man is the oldest, near-complete human skeleton ever found, scientists have also been able to link him with a living descendant. How fascinating is that? Considering the fact that the skeletal remains were dated to the mid to late 9th millennium BC, also known as the Mesolithic period, that is about 10,000 years ago, finding a descendant of the Cheddar Man was a monumental discovery. The living descendant, a man named Adrian Target, is a local history teacher who participated in a special DNA research program aimed at identifying the ancestral link to the discovered remains. This has been identified as the oldest ancestral linkage in history, even longer than the tracing of the royal family. This cave, and many more that we have explored on this, our epic journey, offer us a glimpse into history and grant us the opportunity to peer back in time and marvel at lost memories. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.